At the beginning of last session, you got robbed in the night. You awoke to find your packs ransacked, one of your scrolls missing. One of you commented that you figured they were looking for the map. What they ended up taking was the scroll of Misty Step out of Canto's pack. And then you went looking for someone who was maybe trading in maps and scrolls and whatnot. And you came across an old man who owned a stationery store, and there were some jokes about that, mostly how it wasn't moving around and stuff like that. You determined that someone had bought an invisibility scroll from him, and someone had been looking for a map, claiming that they were from the Cartographers Guild, and they were looking for a copy of a map they had drawn. So you decided to continue on towards Long Saddle, and then you were ambushed. You were ambushed by 3 archers and 1 super archer.
And some dogs, right?
Who also released some death dogs, yes.
Yeah.
Hounds.
You eventually triumphed. I think Bobby ended up with 13 health at the end of that. Canto is completely out of spells and mostly out of cutting words. Lex is pretty good. Lex has a little bit of health down, but doing all right. So presumably you were going to long sleep. Whether or not you wanted to go back to Tribor, where you had a little bit more security, since you weren't that far out of town, you'll need to decide now. We literally stopped right at the end of that battle, so of course there's other things to maybe decide about.
I cut open a death hound and crawl inside with Kallista to keep her warm.
And I'd like to point out I have 14 hit points. Thank you very much.
They, just for the record, not only do they smell literally exactly the same on both sides, they are full of diseases that will in fact kill you, and you probably don't want to do that.
Yeah, but it's like Star Wars, so it's cool.
It's like Star Wars, except your face.
Except you die.
You come out looking worse than Palpatine, is really how this works. Okay, so you need to decide if you want to go to Tribor, where there's a little bit more safety. If you want to try to press on to Long Saddle, the super rogue ambush archer guy rode off on a horse away from you after using Misty Step.
Did we see what direction he went?
He would have gone at least partially east.
East, and that's neither back towards Tribor nor towards where we're going, is it?
No.
Okay. He's going off to his own place, at least for now.
Possibly towards the Evermoors a little bit.
Yeah.
I think where I told you ended up being was right next to the, basically where the R is in River Cerbrin, or directly west of Flint Rock on the road between Long Saddle and Tribor. So you're actually about halfway between those two, meaning that, in fact, it's probably not worth going back to Tribor. I don't remember what I told, whether you're 2 days out or 3 days out. This isn't the correctly scaled map. You're about halfway between, but what you can do is you can pull off to the sides into the little foothills and maybe try to camp and rest if you want to get a long rest in. If you'd rather just keep going, then hopefully you have marked down what you do or do not have. But
well, can I make a suggestion? If I could just get a short rest, I can heal up a little bit and get all my stuff back, and then we could go find a place to camp and have a good long rest, but I could at least have a little bit better chance of defending us against something if it jumped out of the woods and tried to eat us.
And I'm awesome, so I don't need any type of rest.
See?
Unless you want any of your spells or health back, yeah.
I still got 29 health. I'm doing all right.
And I know Lex has all his spells, and or Kallista has all her spells, and
yeah, she never uses them.
I don't know how she's doing on health though.
7.
Okay, I was gonna say I know it's fairly low.
So fantastic.
But that's out of 10, so you're good. So yeah, whatever you guys want to do, and then we can carry on. But treat
just
this
like
as if you
like
really just
quick
came out
hour
of that battle.
Just to sit down, catch my breath, have a ale.
Yeah, I can do.
They didn't arrow the keg, did they?
I can do a song of rest when we sit down and chill out, get our hit points back up, and then we can travel until we actually need to do a long rest.
That works.
All right.
Sound good.
Are we going after the super archer, by the way?
He already used my scroll, so there was no point in chasing him down to get my scroll back. So he'll show up eventually. Unless you really want vengeance.
I'm not the one who got stolen from, so if you want to set the precedent that it's okay to steal from you, then by all means.
It sounds like a trap to me.
She's clearly working with him.
I rolled a 1 for extra D8 hit points for my Song of Rest. So
we each get 1 extra?
Yeah.
If you use a hit die to heal yourself, you will add 1.
Each hit die?
No.
Just 1 total.
Just 1 total.
I'm going to use 3 hit die.
However, you do add your Constitution modifier every time, yeah. And you don't have to decide how many you want to use until you've used, like you can do 1 and it's terrible and you can do another, or you get 1 and it's max and you're fine.
Well, I got 20 points back on those 3.
Nice.
Maybe I'll use 1 more.
Does that include your Constitution?
Yeah, that includes con.
And the 1?
Yes.
Okay.
And I rolled a 10, so 44.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
Canto's back up to 36 using 1 hit die.
Okay.
And how many do we get? 1 per level?
It should be, yeah.
So I've got 4 left.
I have 1 left.
Lex, hit dice?
I have used 1.
Where are you in health?
I'm now at 13.
Okay, cool. I just like to keep it generally known. Alright, so you have taken a short rest. Was there anything else that you wanted to do during said short rest? In your post-battle, normal haze of dead bodies around you and stinking dogs.
Sneak a frog into Kallista's pack.
Why?
I don't know where you got it.
I'm magic. I let your characters have random doves and crap for my game, so let me have a frog at least.
And you can maybe catch a frog. You can't have a frog.
Conjure frog. Did you take that spell?
I totally skipped over it.
Yeah, there's a summon woodland creature spell. Get on that shit.
Find familiar.
There's that too, which is not an excuse not to take hunting skills.
My familiar is a cow. Big juicy cow.
All right. So.
All right. Let's continue on our trek until we have to take a rest, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I'm ready to keep going. Let's go kill some stuff.
It's not like my entire night hinged on the fact that up till now you have mostly. Well, actually, not mostly. Sometimes I do have to remind you. Looted everyone in the town.
Right. What the heck? What are you doing, Kallista? This is your job.
It's not like I've been hinting at it.
Well, we are out of practice.
With your normal after battle, pretend that it literally just battle ended.
Well, here's part of the problem too. It's my bad. I do not have an open beer. Shit. She's worried about her microphone
tonight, aren't you?
I'm sorry. I'll stop. Hey, let's take a look at what these bodies have on them. Anything interesting?
I was kidding about the entire night hinging on it, but I was very surprised you didn't loot them. Let's see. You can find a total of 23 gold.
Put them in the boots. The dwarf boots.
It's probably split up between gold and silver, but I don't really want to do that. You find, assorted arrows and some daggers and whatnot. Nothing that seems like it's really, worth anything. They have some light leather armor. Let me get a who's actually doing the looting on the bodies? Proper scheme.
Well, Kallista and I have the best perception, so probably us.
Not going to use perception.
Oh, well, I don't care.
Thorlan's more of a carrier of things than a finder of things.
Kallista's looting.
Yep, I'm looting.
Kallista, roll for me an investigation check.
Investigation, okay.
Maybe I should have done it.
12.
You find a folded piece of paper in one of their pockets.
No.
Origami?
Not folded that much. It is folded. It's paper that was folded in half, and then top to bottom, and then left to right.
It's a goose.
Kallista, would you like to unfold the paper?
Yeah,
It's a
maybe
trap.
Later.
I didn't hear you.
I said, maybe later.
Can I make a perception roll to see if I notice Callista look at it or pick it up?
Kallista trying to hide it?
No, I'm reading it.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh, okay. So as you open it, you all of a sudden notice that it's two pieces of paper folded together to keep them together. Give me a dexterity roll, please.
Uh-oh.
5.
The second piece of paper falls out, or like a piece of paper slips out. Like as you're unfolding the one piece of paper, the other piece of paper that was folded inside it slips out, and that kind of goes to the ground and kind of hovers towards the dwarf. And
I'll step on it.
it lands face down, and you step on it. And Kallista, as you continue to unfold, you see that it is not like a really a wanted poster, but it has kind of that air to it, and it is it doesn't look like it was drawn by hand. It looks like almost, and maybe you've seen this technique before, almost like it was burned from like a scry, so like magically like this is the image that I want people to see, when like a Xerox machine made of magic, basically, and or a Polaroid photograph using magic. And I would like a perception check from you, but hold the number for me for a second.
How would Thorlan pick up the paper?
Thorlan, as you pick that up, you kind of notice that it's a bit of a tattered, it has like a coffee or tea stain on it in the corner. It looks like a
Looks like a boot print.
yeah, also on the back of it, but on the front of it is what looks to be a handwritten note, and it's one of those like from the desk of, but it has that feel to it, like it's from someone's private stationery. And it has a little symbol up in the corner, and it kind of looks like a circle around like a flask with a little bit of smoke coming out of it. And then there's writing on it in a kind of what looks like it was written very fast, very.
Oh, chicken scratch. I can read this.
So I'd also like you to give me a perception check. But back to Kallista. Kallista, what did you roll?
15.
A 15. Okay. You are staring at... Is Thorlan reading out loud, or is he reading to himself?
Well, Thorlan kind of has to read out loud.
I was going to say, Thorlan has to sound out the words.
There's no inner monologue for Thorlan whatsoever.
All right. I'm sending you a message.
Yes, he uses hooked on phonics. Te Hana K that says the.
If it says beer,
Come on, Thorlan, we've been working on this.
beer,
You're getting IMs.
beer.
This is what you actually read. This is what is written on the paper. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's what's written on.
Yeah, I forgot the quotes. No, I know. I realize once he starts reading this, you'll realize why he thought I just was figuring this shit out.
No, Thorlan just looks up from the paper and says, "I found it. I think I finally have the answer."
To what?
I don't
Why,
know.
you're
I
a
just
drunk?
wrote on the paper. I'll hand it to Canto.
Oh.
God damn it. Okay, I'll copy and paste.
That's what you try. That's what you get when you try to be all fancy like.
Yep.
That's where he left off.
Canto is reading aloud. The
Read the
council.
second line first.
What?
Read the second and the third line first, then go to that first one I sent you.
Okay. I've only got 2 lines.
Yes, I'm trying to write the second one. That's basically what I'm saying.
Skype D&D.
God bless technology.
Ignore that typo.
I think I have the answer. I found it. The council is so close, but they are unaware. But what are they unaware of? Good thing it takes me a while to read this. Canto scratches his chin. We must quickly finish the formula. What formula is that? I can only wonder.
It's not on a note.
I fear that others are after it. Man, Canto's a really slow reader.
Yeah. No wonder your musical career is floundering.
Hey, it's going fantastic. I'll just wait until this is done before I read.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
So Canto will read, and he'll strum his lute. Ba-ding. I found it. I think I have the answer. The council is so close, but they are unaware. We must quickly finish the formula. I fear that others are after it. I've seen the glares in the tower. I think we must meet. Perhaps the usual place to maintain this secret until it is ready. Please be careful, dear. That's chicken scratch in here. Signed, Bernard. That's strange. He folds it up, puts it in his pocket. Huh. I wonder what the formula is. Seems strange. Okay.
Sounded like talking about a recipe.
Do any of you guys know anyone named Bernard, by chance?
I knew a Bernie once.
Oh, yeah? Did you spend a weekend with him? I'd high-five you, but, different states.
I think I used to know a Bernard.
Oh, yeah? What about him?
Oh, we used to hang around together a lot. Usually back when I was still studying magic and such.
Interesting.
You could say, yeah. You could say he was kind of my mentor, actually.
Huh. Well, you didn't recognize any of these men we just killed, do you?
You do not.
So
let's hope not, because she was looting through their dead corpse bodies here just a few minutes ago.
Canto will pull it
Oh,
up.
Frank, you silly bastard. You always carried your gold and your...
Canto will pull back out the note. He's like, I didn't want to say it before, but I think something might have happened to your mentor, Kallista. This note was signed to you. He'll hand her the note, and he'll say the last line said, "Please be careful, dear Kallista."
That's true, it does.
Bernard and I did used to. I know he was working on a formula of some sort, and I was helping him with that, but I had no idea things were so bad.
Interesting. Do you know where this secret place is? Or this meeting place?
You do.
I do.
Well, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, we'll follow you if it means, helping out, finding what happened to your mentor. Despite everything, I think we're kind of friends.
Yeah. I do know that, it was in Waterdeep where they worked. But what's interesting is I had no idea he had gotten so far with the formula. So I'm intrigued to see what has happened to him, who's after him.
Well, it's up to you, old friend. Or new friend. I guess we've only known each other for like a year. Oh, damn it. I just threw my dice across. We'll follow you. We didn't have a direction before. Now we do. What ho and all that.
Are you guys going to turn around and go to Waterdeep, or are you going to continue on to Longsaddle?
Well, Longsaddle's close by. We can gain our bearings there and maybe find passage to Waterdeep.
Ooh, we take one of those big pretty boats.
Find passage.
Well, someone might know a good way to get there. Maybe we can find a magical way to...
You're on the road to Waterdeep.
I know.
Oh, okay. Well, you're between Longsaddle and Tribor. That road goes straight down past the Sword Mountains, past Amphale to Waterdeep.
We were originally traveling north because we found some interesting things about the
You
map.
are traveling sort of north, and it's not the northernmost point before the spine of the world, but it's, in line with the Evermoors and whatnot. Tribor is south of that. Then south of that, way down below the Sword Mountains, is Amphale. And then south of that is Waterdeep. Because Waterdeep is not that far north compared to, say, Neverwinter. But it is very far north compared to Baldur's Gate.
If we can't get that crazy Scottish wizard Scotty to beam us down, we might want to take a boat.
So we're already halfway to Long Saddle. We might as well see why the map was blinking there, right? Unless you feel
About
like
2 days from Long Saddle. Let's say. But you're like probably like 14 days from Waterdeep.
It's up to you, Kallista. We can turn around now, or we can stop in Long Saddle to see on this map thing. Hell, we can cut back in through Neverwinter and take a boat down to Waterdeep if you want.
I think we can move on. We can go finish what we were doing first, and then go to Waterdeep.
All right. If you're okay with that, I'm okay with that.
I know yeah, I think we should move on. We can always go after that. I think that will work out.
Obviously, whatever trouble is happening down there is us.
Exactly.
All right.
And they have some really, really good ale in Long Saddle.
Hmm.
I'll take your word for it, dear ale expert.
Long Saddle Brewery. They don't make IPAs. That'd be terrible. So yeah.
But they're so far north they can lager year round.
It's Lager Saddle, I guess. I was trying for something I couldn't figure out. Orc Brow is still like the best I can do.
Still have that bottle somewhere.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right. So, would you like to travel at all before you do your long rest? How do you want to handle that? Because obviously you have 2 days of travel.
Once it gets too dark to travel, we'll stop and rest. How's that
Just making
sound?
sure that's what you want to do, and not early. You guys are pretty much up to
One
health.
of you guys needs to take one of those magical tent spells.
I'm going to. I just need to get
Like
there
this.
first.
Can you take the magical mansion one eventually?
Eventually, I can take any spell I want.
Sweet.
But
That mansion one would be slick.
I probably won't waste it on that. I'll probably get the healing aura that the paladins get or whatever it's
Is
called.
prayer of healing?
Wish.
Is
No, it's aura of vitality.
that one, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that one's But anyways,
I think mansion it might actually be on your actual list.
I don't know. I'll have to check.
Um
But anyways, yes. Continue forward until we reach darkness.
all right.
Why is the Southern Comfort so weak right now?
Your tongue is numb.
Because you finally built up a resistance like a real
I don't drink, so there's no way.
I am sorry to say that perhaps your kerfuffle earlier drew the eyes of something.
Oh, good.
And you start to get the feeling that you're being watched.
I roll to panic.
The good thing is you usually roll very low, so you're probably not going to panic. Sorry.
Well, the good news is it's only 7th level spell to get the mansion, so you only have to play for a couple more years. The bad news is that Thorlan really, really, really badly wants to try and stealth around and find what's sneaking around us, because he doesn't like the idea.
Are we like in a forested area or something?
You are not. You are actually kind of between some foothills. So if you guys want to bring up a map so that you know what I'm talking about, just a normal Sword Coast map will be usable.
I'm going old school on paper.
Or I've probably sent you Chris Perkins's unlocked charity map. So there's that as well.
Is that the big giant one?
The one that's like unnecessarily resolutioned? Yeah.
Yes. That's my, not my screensaver, but my desktop on my Linux box.
Be careful! Unreasonably buff bird. That fucking cracked me up, Lex. So much. So much. I'm gonna be so sad when he's gone.
We're kind of on...
If you were more in the woods, I would send giant spiders and ettercaps after you.
Yeah, no, we're kind of in the open, guys. I mean, there's
Foothills.
rolling hills,
Mhm.
so like waves of land, but that's about all we got.
Yeah, I can die. It's okay.
I would
And we're
like...
kind of on a...
The
on a
fuck is a
meadow.
swarm of quippers? That's not important. Doesn't matter who. I would like you to roll perceptions.
Oh, wow.
3.
He said that so forcefully. 3. My perception score is plus. Sorry, my PDF is super tiny. I gotta zoom in a little bit. That's an 11.
I think we're going to get ambushed.
Nah, we're fine.
Thorlan, 18.
How'd that happen?
You smell and sense as much as see the slight top, bald pate of a grayish skinned orc moving behind one of the hills.
Without even really thinking about it, I pull out Hugh and my shield, and I drop the bag of snack foods I was munching on and the half-full glass of ale.
May I suggest, as much as you like Hugh,
Into stock.
as much as you like Hugh, may I suggest that you... Oh wait, no, I guess Hugh's a +1 battle axe too, isn't it?
Yes, he is.
Just with a bonus. So you also just have a normal +1 battle axe, don't you?
Yeah, Talon is there too. But
Do you have 3 magic axes?
No. I have Talon and Hugh.
And they're both +1 battle axes, exact same
Like-
damage profile, but Hugh does more against wood.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Weird. Alright, I just didn't want you to miss out.
Yep. I have a warhammer. But
That is also true. Okay. Thorlan, are you attempting at all to communicate with your party what you have seen?
Yeah, but I'm so focused on actually trying to figure out just how quickly I can get there and kill them because I know I can't sneak up on them, that all I'm really doing is going...
The dwarf's leaking air again.
Well, plug him up then.
Oh, you know what? Nah, I try to make like a bird. Cuckoo!
Whoa!
Coo!
I'm not crazy. You stop that. What's wrong with you?
Shake my head toward the where I saw them.
The best part is they're probably not smart enough to notice.
I'm just gonna shake my head and I'm gonna run at. I'm charging in. I'm going wherever I saw that thing. I'm running at them
To your right.
as fast as my little dwarven feet and special boots can carry me.
30 feet.
I feel like he's after something.
Plus another 30 feet.
It's
Let
probably
me
just a squirrel or something.
check one thing real fast.
Squirrel.
Oh, Thorlan and his squirrels.
Not one of you's complained when I
As
picked
you-
up those delicious squirrels.
Are you running the full 60?
Oh, sure.
Okay. So as you get up there, I want you to roll another perception check because they seem to probably have not suspected that you would notice
That
them or
one
rush.
is a 15.
As you kind of crest part of the hill, you see 2 grayish skinned orcs. They look they look big. I mean, they're muscular and built even by orc standards. They're jacked. They're both wearing what appears to be well enough maintained, but not necessarily really well made, bulky plate mail. And they're both holding great axes. And between them, and back a little ways, sitting on its large, bulbous haunches, with a confused look on its face, is a hill giant.
I think we should
So
have been
am I cresting one of those like rolling hills?
A little
as
bit,
I see
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So, running full speed, not an easy thing for a dwarf to pull up short as it is, let alone with 2,552 gold pieces in his boots. So Thorlan kind of actually skids to a halt at the top of the rise, and a few gold coins kind of bounce out on the ground. And he just sort of stares dumbfounded for a second.
Let me get a, what would this be? I actually don't have a character sheet in front of me, so my skills might be off here. I want to see what you maybe know about these orcs.
So nature, history.
I would say
insight.
perception or history might work, because you do have a history with orcs, so you're going to get.
I don't get a bonus in history.
Let me. You can treat it as if
it uses int, and my int isn't as good as my whiz.
So let's treat your history as if you were. If you roll you can roll perception or you can roll history. Treat your history as if you were proficient in it.
Oh. Well then, let's call that an 11.
You can't really remember what they're called, and you can't really remember what they are, but these are not normal orcs. You remember these being the big bastards, like, oh fuck, super orcs, sporks.
Oh shit, sporks.
Frickin' sporks.
Alrighty, let's roll initiative.
Damn it! I was gonna try to sneak.
No,
Tiptoe back.
they're literally looking right at you like, oh shit, charged.
Wait, before we roll initiative, can I try to charm them?
Maybe,
Like,
but
just one last.
Give me another perception check, real fast.
5.
No. You interpret the look on the orcs' faces as just anger, and you don't necessarily see anything else behind it.
Oh shit.
Canto rolls a 22. It's for initiative.
So initiative. 20.
Oh shit.
12.
If I were a dick, I'd make you, I'd give disadvantage to Kallista and, Solus. Canto, Thorlan, at a 20, Kallista at a 12. Those are pretty good rolls. Alrighty. Is Kallista with 2 L's or 1? I'm sorry.
2.
That's what I thought. Okay.
L's?
Not that it
Spelled
matters.
with 2 P's. What are you talking about?
Alrighty. Canto, you
Canto.
do not see anything.
Okay. What the hell is wrong with you, dwarf? And I'll casually saunter up towards him.
Well, he's about 60 feet away from you right now.
So I saunter my,
You saunter dash.
I mean, you're not completely out of it. You know something is there. You know you are in a fight, or that he's engaging something. You just don't see them.
I move my 30 feet then, and
I got my hackles up.
There's something wrong with the dwarf senses something. What's wrong, boy? What do you see?
What is it, boy?
Do you like to ready an action such as crossbow, something that comes into view?
Sure.
Or
I'll if something pops into view, I don't have any spells. I'll shoot it with my crossbow, but
Okay.
if it's an orc or something dangerous.
you're kind of at the bottom of the little rolling part of the hill. You're kind of between two hills, so it's not quite. I have to go all the way up. Thorlan's like halfway up, and the enemies are kind of on the other side of the hill. They had been kind of looking over and watching, but as you rushed in, they. All right, Thorlan.
How far away from me are they?
Like 20 feet.
Charge.
Which one are you charging?
Well, the giant guy's toward the back, right?
You can get between the two orcs and attack the giant, as if you are the center space of a tic-tac-toe board.
Ah.
But then you have an enemy on each of your 3 sides.
And a giant. Does the giant look orc-like?
No, the giant looks like a hill giant.
Then I am going to attack one of the orcs.
So, stupid.
The one on the left, because that's how dwarves read, still left to right.
I don't know if that's true, actually.
I'm
I
a
always
dwarf.
presumed they were Jewish.
Dwarf. Funny.
Orthodox dwarvish.
Orthodox dwarf. Let's see. That is 18 plus 8 is 20-something. 26?
That'll hit.
And then my D8, let's stick with the red dice since that one's treating me good. 13 damage for the first attack. The second attack is a 23. And it does 10 damage.
How much total?
Was it 10 and what was the first one 13, so 23.
Okay. I mean, he staggers a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one.
How much damage did you do?
23.
Oh, and he only staggered a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to take a while.
Okay.
You might want to stand back and shoot.
Yeah. Sorry.
Did you move in between them or just up to the guy on the left?
Just up to the guy on the left.
Okay.
In fact, my dwarven army training would have had me position myself on the outside of him.
Yes. All right. The orc attacks you back.
Of course he does. When he misses, I riposte.
First attack. 12 does nothing. Second attack. 18.
18 will hit. You want to do yours first, or should I riposte the miss?
No, the riposte or the miss was the first one, so go ahead and do it if you want to do it, because you did say you were going to.
20.
Oh yeah.
And that is 19 damage.
If I took them at base, he'd be dead. But I did not.
Of course not.
Which I decided before just now, just for the record. You would have rolled exactly the 42 necessary to kill, which would have stopped the second attack from
Gotta
hitting
be
you.
at least double that.
But it doesn't. Usually it's not double. Usually it's just kind of factor in the fact that, their constitution is part of it. Usually ends up being about 50% more, unless they just have really low or really high constitution. He does 8 slashing damage to you.
-8.
The other guy,
He's not happy.
fortunately for you guys, cannot see Canto. The other one's going to move up on you as well. No, he's going to take a... He's going to take a javelin out and throw it at you. Passes, buddy.
Like javelins.
Oh my god, he crit.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh, be glad.
Dwarf on a stick.
Because he doesn't get to make 2 javelin attacks, I don't think. He just makes them with his great axe. So he crit you. 10 base. Plus another 4. So you take 14 total damage.
Okay. That's 22 down. So hey, that's 22 hit points. I'm half of what I was. I'm half the dwarf I used to be.
The giant stands.
Uh-oh.
And he picks up the log that was behind him. That is his club. And he goes, "Blah!" Or whatever giant sounds like. Oh shit. Alright, well I didn't read that part, so that's not important. He rolls a 26.
Just barely, though.
He also didn't move up to you. He just slams down on it because they have a reach of 10 feet.
Nice.
This might be bad for you.
Well, it's not going to go really well.
He does 15 damage.
I think Thorlan's pretty much dead, so Kallista and I will retreat.
And then he backswings.
Oh.
That's the part I was like, oh, I didn't read this. I forgot hill giants also have 2 attacks, not just normal attacks.
I fit.
He rolls a 15.
Oh yeah, that puts Thorlan out.
No, to hit.
Oh, to hit. I'm sorry, I thought it was 15 damage. No,
Nope.
15, that's miss.
Yeah. Are you sitting on what are you sitting on? 18?
17.
with your shield out?
I'm sorry, 19 with my shield.
All right, one of those other attacks would have missed you too, but I don't know which one.
I thought you were in 20s for all of them.
I rolled an 18 somewhere along the way.
Oh, well.
The one guy crit you, but one of the axe attacks hit you for low. Take another. I'll take 5 hit points back.
That puts me in double digits again.
I was gonna say I knew you didn't have equivalent, but I knew you were better than with your shield.
Well, I have it crossed out because of the cloak, but
Yeah.
I forgot about my shield.
Because you're wearing magical armor, aren't you?
Yeah, what's your AC, dude?
A cloak of protection. With my shield, it's
Also
19.
Okay, that's what I thought. When you said 18 and you were like, that hits, I was like, oh, okay.
Who was wearing the breastplate of dragon breath? Did I change that to something
I
else?
think Canto has that.
Oh, so Canto has it and it's leather.
Wait,
I just have
what
my
is it?
+1
Studded leather, +1, Dragon Guard, advantage on saving
Here you
throw
go.
versus Draconic
Okay.
Breath.
The dreaded Kallista goes.
Does she have to be able to see to fireball?
Kind of technically, yes.
Oh.
It doesn't say I have to.
But you wouldn't know where you're aiming it. So I would randomly select like a square. Kind of like a scatter die.
Scatter die?
Yeah.
That sometimes works out well, but not always.
Really? All it says is to a point you choose within range.
I think you have to be able to see that point. I think there's an overall rule for spells somewhere written that, like, to be able to target a point, you have to see it. Or for a thing for targeting. I don't know exactly how it works out.
Of course, the giant is.
Oh, the giant! No, I'm sorry. The giant did stand up. You can now see his face. Yes.
Target his face and fireball that motherfucker.
I'm just afraid I'll hit you.
Which also actually allows Canto to.
When has that ever stopped you?
Canto, if you'd like to take a.
I'll go after Kallista goes.
You need to go before Kallista goes.
Oh.
Because
okay,
you have a
fine.
ready action. You'll be at -2 because you can only see his head.
14.
That does hit. All right.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
Okay.
Headshot.
I did not think of that. So damage is 1d8 plus 3, I believe. Oh, it's an 8, so 11 damage.
To his face.
To his face.
We're just counting it as you can see, like his kind of chest up.
To his face.
Now Kallista.
We would also accept neck.
To his neck.
Punch him in the neck.
Canto smirks.
Yeah.
So yes, Kallista.
We can always
I'll,
raise the dwarf later.
Just remember, if you kill the dwarf now, you have no other tank. Between you and those other, I'm just saying. I'm not saying don't fireball him. I'm just saying remember that then they come for you.
Well,
Right,
maybe if we
but I'm
lobbied
also-
hard enough, maybe he'd let us Lucasfilm this shit, and I could come back as Force Ghost Thorlan.
Revenant. How do you feel about the Raven Queen? Let's talk about this.
I'm going with the fireball, and yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to roll anything. Oh well, no, you do have to roll your thing, but
I don't?
you need to roll wild magic. You do not need to roll to hit.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
do
a-
need to know what your spell save is, though.
The 16.
So a 16.
16 half damage.
Yeah, but let me roll the bad guys first, please,
What are you rolling for, though?
to get out of the way.
Dex
This
save.
has got a dex save.
Yeah. Okay.
So area of attack spells they try to save. Just point and click spells you try to hit. Giant will be first. Oh my god. Giant rolled an 18. So the giant's gonna take half damage from it.
He's the only one that saw it coming.
Ah! As it explodes on his. He dodges out of the way, it explodes on like the tooth necklace.
Like singes his eyebrow.
Doesn't he still take half damage?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's taking half.
Okay.
And the orcs. Oh well, Sorry, I need to roll both of those. The orcs both take full damage. So let's determine damage, and then let's find out what Thorlan takes.
9, 14, 18, that's 20, 24, 29. In total, I rolled 32, I believe.
Does it also add your spellcasting modifier, or no?
No.
Okay,
32, that's impressive.
Is it
That is
6d6 or 8d6?
86.
That's what I thought. I think it was 6 in the playtest, and that's why I always have that in my mind. Alright, so,
It's really
30.
not going to matter whether I make this save or not.
you
Thorlan
have
is-
less than 16 health?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So,
13, so I'm negative 20.
yeah. So you can roll whenever you want to. The order I want to do this kind of stuff from now on is bad guys will go, and I'll give the answer, then roll damage. Or you can roll damage, and then I can do the bad guys. But I always want whoever allies caught in it to go last, just so I can keep pace.
Thorlan actually saw the fireball coming. He looked up just in time to see it come over the hill and explode, and a small smile crossed his face, because to him that meant the cavalry was coming.
Just I can see it happening. So one of the orcs just basically chars away like Sarah Connor in that one scene.
Nice.
The other one takes 32 damage and is now almost as wounded as the other one was. The giant, unfortunately, only takes 16, bringing his total to 27. And Thorlan drops dead.
Well, not dead.
You're at
Dying.
negative...
20.
Okay. Is negative half dead, or is negative full dead?
I'd have to hit negative 52 to be dead.
That's
dead.
what I thought.
Or fail my death saves.
So, Kallista, you got another one. Get in there. Kallista, what did you roll for your that d20 that you rolled?
3.
That thing is rolling threes like crazy, man.
It's
Okay.
just a 3 kind of day.
Yeah. Do you want to move? Do you have a cantrip that you can cast as a bonus action?
No,
I severely doubt you do. Yeah.
I'm good.
It's my turn?
Yep.
I will back up my full distance. It's probably to come back up to where Kallista's at, I'm guessing. And I will shoot the very wounded orc.
That you would not at all be able to see from Kallista.
I can't see him.
You can only see the giant.
Oh, I will shoot the giant.
Yeah, unless you want to move in.
No, I do not want to do that. So that's a 15 plus 5, 20 to hit.
Yeah.
Or 6 now, 21 to hit. Alright, D8 plus 3. Let's see if I can keep that luck going with this. Nope, 5 damage.
Total?
Yep.
Sorry, in my mind it already added the 3 just to even out the number, and then was like, what's the difference? Okay. Thorlan, death save, please.
And 18.
Oh, nice. All right.
Good job,
Rolling
Thorlan.
rolls high. I got to give it that Perkins whip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do. Mike kind of has one too. Anyway,
A little bit, yeah.
the orc is going to move up the hill his full 30 feet, which will allow him to see down at you guys. As a bonus action, he is then going to rush at... Does he fear the mage? The sorcerer, sorry.
So how far away were we originally? Because he was 60 feet away from me.
So,
And I
what
moved
happened?
30 feet and moved back. So we're 60 feet away still, right? Or-
Okay, so kind of what happened was because they were like on the hill, just on the other side of it.
Right.
The sight lines were messed up, right? So Bobby ran the 60 feet to get almost to them.
Then he was 20 feet further away.
Yes.
And ran that 20 feet.
Ish, something like that. I don't anyway. This orc has been moving. He moved to throw the javelin and all that as well.
Okay.
So he moves up his 30 feet, and as he's moving, he can now see you because he's come up, and then he's going to move another 30 feet as a bonus action because they can dash as a bonus towards a hostile creature, which roughly puts him to you guys because I'm not using a grid right now. So
But luckily, he's just out of reach.
fortunately, no, he's gonna hit her or attack her. But don't forget, she has shield. Sir?
She does have shield.
Oh my god. Yeah, don't use shield.
Did he hit?
He rolled a 20.
Oh. So he crit.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm going to try to lower the damage then. With my last... I think I have one more of these. Is that fair?
Please go ahead and roll that if you're going to try it.
Whatever he rolls, reduce the damage by 6, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to save her.
That's fairly solid. I have no idea how much health she has. You take an initial damage of 16, which is reduced to 10 by Canto. You take an additional 6 damage, so you take...
Yeah, I'm down.
Really?
Yep, she had 13 health left.
Yep.
Were you guys standing next to each other?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
We were not.
So when you said you were moving basically back to where she was,
Back.
you just meant that
As an equal distance, yeah. Not like I was standing next to her, because I know better.
At this exact moment, you get a sending stone message from Gundren.
Ding!
Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you are well. Please, let me know when you reach Lawn Saddle.
I've been waiting for quite some time.
As that happens, it cuts out on his end. The people you are trying to reach are dead.
I'm fine. I have a potion of flying.
In fairness.
But I feel like if I do that, he'll just hack Kallista's body.
I did not think these would do just this much damage.
Well, we were also weakened.
No, I actually had a plan. I knew I front loaded this with a lot of damage. I didn't expect to crit as much as I did, but
2 crit.
I never do. Anyway, the giant
Oh god.
lumbers over the hill,
Hey, buddy!
and he can move 40 feet. But then he reaches the top of the hill and reaches down, and let's see if he can find a rock. He finds a rock, throws it at Canto, and it will... He rolled a 10 to hit you.
I'm gonna let it go. I can't do anything about it anyways.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's an 18.
Oh, here's a +8?
Yeah.
God. I'm so dead.
Because he rolled a 10, I was like, oh good, he's gonna miss. No. And then this also just does unnecessary amounts of damage. So just straight up take 5 off.
Okay.
And then here's the actual roll.
Gotta find my... Oh, that's not fair. What happened to my pencil? Oh, it's
How much health did you have left?
36.
Oh, okay, you're down to 7.
Oh, and this is how the party dies? Really? Some random
Yeah,
encounter?
Yeah.
Huh. Alright.
I like the party mechanics of the alts anyway. Also, I'm just really into World of Tanks now, and I really just want to concentrate on that. Lex is like, oh my god, we play that so much. No, one. Because it's your turn.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's not your turn.
Yeah, it is.
Kallista.
Oh, close. No, yeah, she needs a death roll, doesn't she? Roll a crit.
4.
Do you like to use Tides of Chaos?
Can I?
Yes.
You might as well.
Sure.
I don't know if you can. I'm going to say yes.
Sure, I'll use it then. 10.
Yay!
Yay!
Hey, I would have loved so much if you crit. You just fucking sit up, but not sit up. You just your pivot point is your heels, and you just come up and then fireball.
Guys, you really should have taken that long rest.
The 10 was a
I
failure.
offered.
You know what I'm upset about? I have 2 potions of greater healing and a potion of invulnerability I didn't think to drink.
You said the exact same thing in the last podcast.
I know. It's like flat now.
You know what that does, right?
It doesn't even taste good. Yeah, doesn't it half all damage for like
It's
10 minutes or
full
something?
resistance for that would have been huge in this battle.
I'm saying.
If you guys wipe, we'll just go back and replay this. You're fine.
No, we'll just call it good. If we die, we die. That's just how the game goes.
Right?
Die. I said I had a plan.
Yeah.
Force Ghost.
Stomach.
Force Ghost.
Canto's
turn.
Canto will look at the his friends falling. You know, kind of like, you know how with like pistols, you know, when you give it up your pistol, you kind of let it fall down around your finger so it slides around the trigger and
Do that with your crossbow.
yeah, and I put up parlay. Please don't kill us. They're dead now. I'm just gonna beg, like straight up, like, please don't kill us.
The orc is breathing very heavily and looks over at you. And I would like a perception check.
That's.
Is that your entire turn? Is that what you're using your turn with to hope for the best?
I'm also gonna cast a minor healing word on myself, kind of like secretly.
I think it has a verbal component. A heads up on that one. I think healing word is not just the name.
Okay.
So you're calling that.
And I don't know if I'll be pissed that I healed myself, but I'll do that too, and then I'll beg for my life.
Okay, so roll that real fast.
I think it's 2d4 plus my spellcasting modifier.
Plus your
Oh, that's right, 1d4.
per level, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a touch spell, or sorry, it's not. It's a ranged spell and it's a bonus action.
Is it plus my spellcasting modifier?
Yeah, of course.
So not my spellcasting bonus, my modifier, so 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get back 7 hit points. Yay. I'm up to 14. And so what is this?
Perception check, please.
My perception was a 19.
You see what can only be described as keen intelligence behind the eyes of this orc. Something
good.
you've never seen in an orc before.
Well, that's at least something. Right?
He also doesn't look like an orc to you. And now that you've kind of been, you start to kind of remember the stories about orcs. And you think this is not an orc. You think this is an orog.
Hmm.
And orogs are basically, like Warhammer terms, orogs would be black orcs.
Okay.
They're the ones who have like actual like military talent, who have like, they're so intelligent and clever and so strong and whatnot. They're the ones feared by the orc war chiefs, because an orog could just be like, nope, I'm in charge now.
I'm gonna do that thing in The Mummy where the guy like pulls a different like symbols out.
I think that's funny.
Do I need to make a persuasion roll, or am I just
Give
at
me a
the
minute.
mercy?
So now that you kind of know that, you I'll let you do one of two things.
Really, plus 10? Holy crap!
I will let you do one of two things. You may try an insight roll,
Okay.
or you can take a persuasion roll, but your persuasion bonus will be halved.
So either a plus 2 or a plus 5.
But they also have different meanings, so...
Right.
I mean, I was going to take away your proficiency bonus entirely, but I wasn't sure if that was fair.
Boom, boom, boom. That's scary. Maybe insight will serve me better here, so I'm gonna try that. 18 plus 2 is 20.
The thing about this, he did just hack your friend apart while she was falling to the ground. So, probably pretty pissed. But you actually think that, he actually looks like he's kind of relaxing a little bit, in the sense of,
He knows he's won.
I think he's mildly in charge, at least of the hill giant.
Yeah.
You don't imagine he answers to the hill giant. You get the impression that they're not just out to slaughter you. They were maybe either following you, or they were in the area and are looking for me. You also, I'll just go ahead and give this to you. You notice he has a pair of like cuffs on his belt, so you think maybe they're like a capture party.
Oh, well.
And so you have a little bit of relaxing maybe in your mind there.
Okay.
You should fight to the death. Better death than slavery.
I say, you can take the tiefling, just let me go.
York says...
I don't actually say that.
York says... in guttural quasi... I'm pretty sure they speak common. Why wouldn't they speak common? You're not an orc.
He says that to me?
Oh.
You're not an orc.
You speak common.
I speak giant. Holy crap. I don't know if that helps.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You could have used that.
Yeah, but he was already throwing rocks at me before I...
Yeah, no, if you had found... I would have let you totally try a persuasion roll on the giant to fucking help you.
Yeah, oh well. Forgot about that one.
The Auroch says to you, throw them down.
Sure.
Kind of points to, what your crossbow and maybe to your belt, where presumably where your rapier is.
Oh.
Or a short sword, whatever you're using.
It's the Lightbringer, the scimitar.
Meanwhile, the dwarf and the tiefling have bled to death.
No, it's still the Auroch's turn. You're fine.
Yeah, I'll drop the... I mean, what am I going to do? Get squished by a hell giant? I could fly away, but then, my friends would die.
No, you think that he looks a little intrigued. And he says... He coughs out something. Oh, actually, you speak giant. So,
yeah.
In very broken giant, he says, stop now. Good loot at home, basically. And the giant kind of pouts, but doesn't do anything. It's not his turn. The Auroch says to you, you heal. Help friends.
Oh. Yeah, I can do that. And he'll go up. As he nears the giant at the top of the hill, because Thorlan's been hurt for longer, he'll look up at the giant and he'll say, it's like, wow, I am so impressed. You did a fantastic job in this fight. Like, just kind of like playing to a giant's ego.
He looks at you weirdly and then kind of smiles a big broken toothy grin. However, I do need another roll from both Kallista and Thorlan.
13.
Okay.
2.
Okay.
All right. You may cast. Well, you can either medicine to try to stabilize him, or you can cast on him to. The stabilizing is going to work faster.
Yeah, I just stabilized him with a 19.
Okay.
And then go back to Kallista if I get the chance.
So that would be your action.
Yep.
You can now
0 hit points now.
You can now use your move.
Or I could use a bonus to cast Healing word, right?
You just have to get to the top of the hill and be able to see her to cast Healing Word. But I don't think it'll help because she's dead.
No, I meant Thorlan.
Oh, yeah, you could. I mean, the Auroch is watching you, and the Giant is watching you, and you can tell that he told the Giant to watch you and squash you if you do anything bad.
Yeah, I'm just healing, that's all. That's what he asked for.
Yeah, no, I'm just if he can tell if you're gonna start casting an offensive spell, or if you try to run, then they're gonna kill you.
I'm gonna cast Healing Word on Thorlan and healing him for. I've got 2 spells left after. I healed Thor. Oh wow, I healed him. Oh, that's the wrong dice. Damn it. 8 total.
Yay!
So it's up to 9.
What?
So you're up to 1 when you get stabilized, right? Or does he come back to life? I can't remember how that works. Stabilizing brings him to 0.
Does it? Double check that while we deal with the rest of this.
Because if it does, if not, then I won't heal him. But if it does, if it brings him to 0, then I'll heal him and wake him up.
I didn't think it did, but it might. The Auroch
hit
looks.
points, but remains unconscious.
Oh, okay. So the Orog, sorry, it's a G, looks down at Kallista, kind of at your wound, and
Oh shit.
well, he was going to do medicine, and in fact he rolled for medicine, but he rolled very poorly, so he basically just
Pokes your wound.
he tries to flatten the wound with his hand. Like he basically steps on you to like up the pressure. And there's like a spurt of blood out the side, and he kind of looks around, takes his foot away, and kind of looks around.
Oops. If Canto can, he'll head down to her too.
You have to use your move up, and then Kallista will need to roll again.
I probably need to use my...
And try her damnedest to not roll a 1, and if she rolls a 1, she needs to lie about it.
Again?
Like last time.
Failures, though. Am I
You
not?
only have 1. You used your Tides of Chaos last time to save yourself.
Yeah, is it then not a failure?
What?
Is it 10 not a failure?
Taylor.
No, 10's a success.
Okay.
Yeah, just you already had 1 failure, so a 1 would have killed you. So Canto can get to you and stabilize you with a roll.
Oh, what'd you roll this time, Kallista?
10.
Oh.
No, that was the last time. It was the first time, I mean.
Oh.
5.
Okay.
All
That
right.
was painful for a minute there. That wait.
I rolled a 9, but thankfully my medicine is 4, so
Yeah.
13.
Right. They're both stabilized.
And then I will cast my last spell slot on for Healing Word for her.
The
Bring her back, so she's actually awake.
The Orog is watching Kallista very carefully, while the Giant is mostly watching the dwarf.
7 hit points to you, Kallista.
Thank you.
Basically, as soon as you kind of like flick your eyes with the healing, the Orog grabs you and flips you over and binds your hands behind your back.
Well, that's not very nice.
And if Canto even like remotely like moves towards him, you're just gonna get kind of tossed out of the way.
Well,
Like if you were like even like, oh no, he's just gonna batter you to the side while he cuts her because he doesn't want her casting.
Can I cast Shocking Grasp?
No, because you're a little bit surprised. Rather than having you roll and try for it, I'm just going to say that you're a little shaken still. So he binds you, and then as you kind of get up, he's going to kind of put a gag in your mouth.
well,
So that was
finally.
also verbally. Yeah, I knew that was good. Plus, I like to do things that keep Lex from actually speaking. As much as I like Lex speaking, it's funny when he speaks in problem.
Canto sticks his hand up like a high five. He's like, finally someone did that. Like, puts his hands up like the orc's gonna high five it. And just like, holds it there. Yeah?
And the Orog chops your hand off.
Ah!
The Giant grabs the dwarf. The Orog gathers up things, including Lightbringer, and kind of looks at it appraisingly, puts it in his belt.
Oh.
And then all the rest of your stuff gets put basically on like a 2 wood pole sling type thing, like hammocky thing. and with some other loot, and they start to walk in that trails behind the giant.
So
And you walk east.
They left me behind, so I can just
No, here.
go.
They do leave the body of the other Orog behind, however.
So they took and am I in between them or what?
You're probably walking ahead of them a little bit.
Oh. And did they take my stuff in my pouch too, or is it just my weapons?
They took your weapons off you and put them in the bundle. If you have any obvious, like, coin purses or whatever, they would have taken those, maybe jingled them around and tossed them in, but...
Can I see if I could hide the potion of flying from them? Can I try
Yeah.
that?
I will take a sleight of hand.
Just in case I can try to do so. 16? Is that enough?
Total?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but it's nice to have something, just in case. I'll pull the C-3PO thing and pretend like I'm their god by floating around.
Yorag yells out, "What was that?"
What was what?
You're going to need to either have a very good story, or you're going to need to roll very well on bluff.
He's going to grip his side where the rock hit him and kind of hold his I'm just checking my wound. It hurts. And then can I roll persuasion?
Roll bluff.
Bluff? Was that persuasion? Because there's no bluff.
There is totally a bluff or lie or...
Deception.
Oh.
It's charisma.
That's okay.
It's almost the same.
I have a +6 in that. I'm okay. So 23.
He's like, keep your hands at your side.
But it hurts. Oh, fine.
They're also probably bound, at least reasonably.
Yeah.
So keep your hands in front of you, or
Yes.
I'll leave them behind.
Oh, that's not very cool.
You march for about an hour, at which point in time you hear voices.
I'm gonna tweet this. Just got our asses kicked.
Guttural tons, and unless anyone speaks Orc, you don't understand it. You kind of crest one of the other hills, and a group of other Orogs, about 3 or 4 in total, and a couple Orcs, are all gathered around with other forms of hammocky things, and also a wagon. You see a couple of bodies, the arm limply hanging out from behind one of the things. But you also see several, presumably slaves, captured. Some in a little bit more dress than others. Some just wearing what are basically burlap sacks or loincloths. Most are shackled together in long lines of 3 or 4. There's probably a total of 20-ish non-orcs, and there are 2 halflings, one
Love halflings.
1 elf, and the rest are humans. And they all look very kind of scared and captured. And then as the group kind of talks, one of the other Orogs barks out something to your Orog and kind of points, and the Orog barks something back, and then kind of just they start talking regularly again, and you presume that was kind of just a report of what had happened. And then after a little while, the entire party picks up as it's kind of dusk now, and sets off again towards the east.
All right. So am I still next to that giant?
You're close to him.
All right. Can I just kind of...
Well, sorry, when you're at the party, when you're at the group, you're close to him. Once you have joined the group, they're going to put you with the other slaves or captured people.
So we're no longer near the giant anymore.
If you wanted to do whatever you're going to do, it has to happen as you're kind of as your group approaches the group, the whole group, before you get put with the other group.
I was just gonna try to buddy him up.
Group.
But since I mean, if we don't ever see him again, whatever. But I will have attempted to make casual banter with him, asking about his giantness and such, continuing to compliment him on his rock throwing skills.
He generally seems to ignore you, but sometimes at the compliments he puffs himself up a little bit. But you also know that hill giants are incredibly quick to anger, and you have a feeling that if you misspeak at all, or if he thinks you're deceiving him, that he will smash you and the Orog won't be able to stop him.
Well, Canto's kind of cocky, so doesn't matter too much. If he needs to, he won't cast friends, because then the thing will get pissed at him after it realizes what he did.
Yeah, like a second thing.
It's a minute.
The group takes off. You are shackled behind one of the humans in the same line as the halflings. Kallista is shackled behind behind a human who is one behind the elf. Thorlan is still in the hand of the giant, just kind of dangling, and he is put in the cart in like a small cage, and he is chained, like splayed out on his back in the cart.
Lame.
The good news is you all should still be awake, since I healed you all to awakeness. So.
Oh yeah, no, they're awake.
I'm awake to feel this shit.
sorry about
Thanks.
that.
And sadly, I'm sober.
Oh.
They have a small keg in the cart. It's leaking, and you're like trying to tug at it. That's what runs past you.
Canto's biding his time.
All right.
Apparently.
So
they weren't smart enough to gag him, so he's waiting.
Are they going to leave me chained up overnight so that I could get a long rest?
Well, as you continue on, it starts to get into darkness, and then up ahead, let's see. Thorlan can't see anything except what's behind and kind of up. Well, first you see a butterfly, and then you see, or a moth, whatever the fuck it is. Then, Kallista, you're a little bit behind the elf, and you see him kind of like, not perk up, but like, his head kind of tilts, and he kind of like looks up ahead. And if you'd like to take a perception check to see if you can see what he's noticing, or if you want to ask him, well, you're muffled. You can try to ask him, but if you'd like to take a perception check.
15.
You see the slight dim glow of torches, and can maybe kind of hear what sounds like an encampment or like a town type thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I stopped walking.
The slaves behind you run into you, and the Orogs notice this.
Uh-oh.
And you get prodded, kind of violently. Are you going to stand your ground or continue walking?
I'll try to stand my ground.
Oh god. Canto size. And roll size.
Let's see. You are restrained. So you
gagged.
You take the punch.
Just knocks her out again.
For 4 damage.
Okay.
Canto yells out, "Not her face!" That's the only thing she has going for her.
You don't manage to dodge the backhand, and you take 4 damage as well.
Oh, damn it. I shouldn't open my mouth.
And as you kind of double up over in pain, you feel one of the this is Kallista. You feel one of the Orogs or orcs grab you by the hair and kind of wrench your head to the side, and his face is right there in front of you, and he's just staring at you. His like kind of hot breath on your face, just staring you down. And after a second, he lets go of you and kind of pushes you back. And are you going to continue walking?
Can I try and kick him?
Oh god.
You can kick at him, but it might end poorly for you.
I got nothing to help you, dude, until we get a rest in.
Well, they're not going to kill us, probably.
We're chained together in a line.
Yeah.
Okay.
And none of you are at the end.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh no, sorry. You are the end of your group. Kallista is not the end of her group.
Okay, but I'm still chained to other people.
Yes.
Okay. I just try to float away and get stuck. Oh damn! So my feet sticking up in the air, but my arms are still pointing down. Oh,
Yeah.
come on!
I'm going to try and give him a kick.
Oh god.
Roll to hit.
That's the one.
You go to kick, your leg gets caught on your robes, you lose your balance, and you just fall in the mud.
Okay.
The Orog yells out something that you don't understand, and then he unloops your chains, and the giant walks up away from Canto and grabs the chain, and you just get dragged by your wrists.
Oh.
Painfully through the mud. Face up, but, you know.
Well, at least I don't have to walk.
There's a lot of mud and dirt and whatnot building up in your robe. And
Do I see this camp, and can I see if it's going into a mountain or if it's just like out
so
in the
you
open?
can see the torchlight on the horizon. You do not see the quote-unquote camp. However, as the group continues on, you do see something that looks sort of like a rudimentary wooden guardhouse. Sort of like in Warcraft 3, when you can upgrade the orc guard towers.
Right, yeah. Can I...
Kind of on that end, there are two of them. Legend necessarily comes from. They're basically sociopaths. They want nothing more than to hack their enemies to pieces. They're a terrifying presence on the battlefield. They form no attachments, even to their parents and siblings. They have no concept of love or dedication. They worship the orc pantheon because they believe that the gods have the strength beyond reason. However, you see that just beyond these two guard towers, with low torches below them, and kind of a quasi, not fence, but I mean, there is what appears to be overgrown, almost swampy area, because you're starting to enter kind of the Evermore type bog type things. Ruins. There's not a lot, but definitely not natural stone, like natural rocks. These are cut blocks of stone, mostly crumbled, and from what you can see, or what you see is an orc appear from down low, and you all of a sudden kind of realize that there is something underground here.
All right.
You notice that the people around you are getting a little bit more nervous as you approach, and even to the point where one of the human women starts to like cry and scream, and she's kind of pulling away, and she gets pushed, and all of a sudden you hear the click of metal, and as she pushes, she fell forward to some degree, and you see her hand slip out of the shackle.
Oh.
And you see the Orog next to her also sees this.
Okay.
And he draws Lightbringer.
No, not my sword!
And he cuts off her arm.
Oh.
In one quick slice, her screaming stops, and she looks forward, and he just backhandedly takes her head off.
Oh. Now that sword is so gonna need to be cleaned.
That guy's not nice.
And so only her hand and like a few inches of her arm are still in the chains, like, and it just kind of falls against the guy in front of her, and everyone's like, ah!
While everyone's distracted, can I test my chains to see how tight they are?
They're not breaking.
I know, to see if I can slip like she did.
Oh, I mean, no, they're not coming. I'm saying they're held. Oh my god, Cat. That orc then holds up the blade in front of you guys so you can all see the blood on it, and he basically stomps down on the body, and you hear kind of the crunching of bone and like a sick wet sound, and he yells out, "There is no escape. Try. Die."
Canto will be like, "Yeah, don't try to get away, guys." And kind of like wink at the Orog, like, "Yeah, totally on your side."
You're gonna get another slap.
Oh god.
You will not speak. For you now, there is only work and darkness.
What, I have to go pee?
Then wet your pants. I didn't have a better way. I didn't have like a cool way to say that. I was like, make water in your drawers. May your cellars flood with urine. I don't know. Anyway, you are marched forward past the guard towers where you see two orcs in each of them, and each is holding a large, heavy crossbow. And then you are marched forward. The wagon is stopped. The dwarf is unloaded, and he is basically bound and chained. And you are carried.
His pants are wet.
You are all carried or led down the slick stone steps and into darkness. And after your eyes sort of adjust from having been out in the torchlight, you notice that there are cages kind of hung from the edges of what is becoming a rudimentary temple. Tunnel. Jesus, not a temple at all. Complete slip. That is not even Freudian. There is no temple coming.
Okay.
Sorry.
So what kind of temple?
Clearly the Groomsh. Damn it! No! That it really was completely a slip. It is not at all a temple. That you know of. And in these little cages are, excuse me, fire beetles. Their glowing abdomens are giving off a reddish light. In this entire tunnel, as you kind of descend, and at this point, it's a little bit more the original like hallway, right, of whatever ruins was here, and you kind of feel it descending and descending, and it gets a little bit rougher. There are parts where there have been minor cave-ins. There are roots and wet spots where the bog is kind of leaking into the inn and whatnot. And after a little while, it's basically just rough stone, where you can tell that it's been mined or chipped away, but it's not formed at all. And in the distance, I would like Thorlan, I would like you to roll perception with advantage, and I would like the other two of you to roll perception without proficiency.
Without proficiency?
You are proficient in it.
So I still get my normal bonus then.
Just wisdom.
17.
All right.
So
11?
4.
So you rolled a 3?
Yourself.
Yeah.
Nice. That 3 is on fire today.
if you would like to, please feel free to use like an online dice roller. I don't want you to suffer just because that die seems to be rolling low. So, if you feel like it, feel free to roll another die.
It's fine.
Okay.
Totally.
Because sometimes your favorite dice just fuck you over. And then sometimes you find out that your favorite dice from the starter kit roll a lot of 8s on the D8. Then you have to stop using that so you don't kill the party. Also, of course, just to reiterate, especially because you guys are kind of separated a little bit. Not really, but I mean, like, it's harder for you just to party up. I'm trying to use messages as well as talking.
Okay, we'll be patient.
So, Solus, what you hear, what Canto hears, is what sounds almost like a reasonably steady, like, thump.
Does it have a good beat?
No.
Aw. Canto's gonna start rapping.
Is this like a steady thump, or is it more like T-Rex coming towards us?
Uh-oh. Thorlan's getting extra information.
Thorlan rolled a 17.
Nice.
So what you hear, Solus, is basically just the shackles around you. And then you kind of in the distance you hear what, just maybe clattering against the stone. But you can't really make it out. It's kind of weirdly echoing. And you guys continue on, and the tunnel widens a little bit, and you see that you're in kind of a, not a vestibule per se, but you are definitely at like a threshold that has been carved and like squared off, and on either side of it are torches. And on the other side of the threshold, like through it, is a vast cavern room, and you can see some glowing within it. And I would like Canto to roll perception.
Canto, you said?
Yes, please.
Sorry, I got distracted. 17. Thank you very much.
All right. So what you see ahead is several orcs in the space. Each of them in this area ahead.
Orcs or orogs?
Orcs.
Okay.
Not that you can necessarily tell the difference at first glance, especially at a distance. But each one of these has a big forked spear. And they seem to be, for each one, there seems to also be like somewhere between 4 and 12 prisoners being led somewhere, or sitting on the ground or kneeling on the ground while the orcs stand over them with like arms crossed or their spears kind of pointed. The other thing you notice, which takes you aback and kind of makes you go, a little bit makes you go fuck, is a large hulking form standing 18 feet tall, even bigger than your hill giant friend.
Oh, goody.
A huge figure in black steel armor.
Oh, crap.
Carrying a massive hooked greatsword and emerging from a deep gorget of metal is a thick red beard, thick red eyebrows, and short cropped spiky red hair.
Crap. More giant.
And while he is standing in the middle of the room, looking over things, you do see that there are others. Like Kallista to roll perception.
Canto cries.
4.
Wait, what's your perception?
I think 1.
Really? I thought you had a good one. Oh, that's funny. So you rolled another 3?
Yes.
That's awesome.
You don't notice anything then.
Callista's bashed her head on the wall one too many times.
Her face is just covered in mud at this point.
can't see it. Oh, that's
These
funny.
all look nice. It washes off.
Yeah, you'll have a nice mud mask.
Yeah.
It's great for the skin.
Exactly. You still dog pretty.
Pretty and purple. Ish.
All right. So
Now you don't know what to do. Totally banking on her making a good roll there, weren't you?
not really. No, it was going to be a little bit of flavor, but that's it.
Oh, gotcha.
The other thing you notice about this room is it is not quite to the point of stifling, but it is warmer than you would expect it to be. Because it was a fairly not cool night, but it was not a hot night. It was a little bit muggy from the bog, but down here there's definite like warmth,
The night
a
was
dryness to the air.
Hold on, the cat's chewing on my computer. Go away! Leave me alone. Okay. Alright, so it's hot in here, so they're leading us away.
Line is lying sideways, long ways in the doorway. There's like 6 inches on the one side of her and 6 inches on the other side. And she's
Guarding.
looking.
She's guarding the door. So forges, lava, who knows what we're getting led into. Some kind of
Go ahead and take a perception check.
fire sacrifice.
Failed perception check.
17 again.
You smell the sulfurous smell
Demons.
of magma.
Oh. Well, at least it's not demons.
Yet.
Magma demons.
Oh god, don't say that.
Magmen.
We've already got fire giants, not like we need anything else.
Would anyone like to make a history check?
Anybody like a peanut? I have a pretty good history.
It's not important. We can skip through it, but if you want to do it, go ahead.
I got a 20 total.
You know that fire giants are brutal taskmasters and create massive, empires built on slavery.
Great.
Is that true? Did I make that up? I think that's true.
I wouldn't be shocked. They're kind of jerks.
Right? If anybody was going to do it, they would.
No, I mean they turn like if they conquer you in war, they turn you into what's the word? Not prison. I mean
Their bitch.
the serfs. They turn you into serfs. That's what I want.
Do I see any other races that aren't orcs or giants? Like,
No, you do not. Well, I mean, you see, there's humanoids of various.
oh yeah,
A gnome here or there, maybe some dwarves.
no dwarves with ashen skin though, right?
You do not see any dwergar.
Okay. Well,
Although
at least there's that.
your dark vision is black and white, so
I can't tell.
but not necessarily no.
Gotcha. But there is eventually going to be the heat from the magma, or the light from the magma. So I guess we'll find out soon.
You'll have like a second before you hit it. Yeah.
Oh, it's so bright.
I didn't kill you outside this, so I could just fucking drag this shit out.
Super unepic death. Alright, I guess. I mean, nothing we can do right now unless you guys have a plan. Both of you guys are Well, at least Kallista's not able to do a damn thing.
Thorlan's just kind of wandering along, listening and looking, and has more of a look of astonishment than fear.
Canto's just sobbing. I don't want to be a slave. I'm too pretty. Why?
Blaming Canto for this.
Why? Because I didn't get myself killed?
You just couldn't let us die, could you?
You're right. I'm sorry. I should have just let you die and flew away.
You had to be a hero.
I'll take full responsibility.
As you should.
I'll make sure I kill you next time. I'll shoot you with a crossbow. If we get out of this, I promise I'll kill you.
The booming voice of the fire giant rings out.
Do only I understand, or is it in common?
Oh, it's in common.
Okay.
As he lifts the great hooked sword off his back, and it slams into the ground, and you just see sparks shatter away from it, right? As it gouges into the rock. And he yells out, "You all belong to me now. Those of you who do not understand this will die quickly. You will work, and you will mine, or your bodies will fuel our fires." And you kind of feel a Canto, you feel a prod in your back, and one of the orcs with the forked things pokes you kind of in the back, kind of shoves you forward, and another orc walks up and he kind of unshackles you, but then it kind of, you go from being in a line of people shackled together to being in a like you're a little bit further away from the person in front of you, and you're you now have almost full range of motion. Your arms are
I really wish I'd taken that long rest.
Mostly free, but your ankles are shackled together, just short of you being able to take a full stride comfortably.
Okay.
And your waist is, those are up to your waist as well, and then your waist is about I don't know, about 8 feet to the next person. Thorlan is prodded over to a group of what look to be kind of older humans and one halfling. Kallista is basically fairly forcibly dragged away kind of across the hall. And Kallista, you see the eyes of the fire giant kind of look at you and nod approvingly.
Oh god.
In like a nice magical slave.
For just a second, I thought maybe his name was Bernard.
Kallista, it's me. Hey. Then he looks back and he looks out over the group, and he kind of smirks a little bit. He's looking kind of past you, Canto. As he smirks, and then he turns away and he kind of goes off towards another room or away, his great booming footsteps echoing. And you kind of look slowly, kind of worriedly behind you. You kind of have to restrain the lightheaded and like bleh feeling because they're unchaining people, that hand and arm fall to the ground, kind of like a wet squelch, and then it just gets kicked off and skitters across the floor and disappears over a lip of rock you didn't notice, and you just hear the sizzling sound of it hitting magma.
No, that arm was so beautiful.
Like bacon.
Each of your groups are now led away, and you are led Thorlan and Canto. You are led kind of to the right. And as you go, you notice that the ground starts to level out a little bit more, close to basically a magma river. That is, I mean, a very more like, a stream or what, a trickle, whatever. It's maybe like a foot wide here, and then it gets lower, and it kind of just follows along the side. And then there are 2 tunnels ahead of you out, and these are smaller, more like your size-ish, compared to the large, giant, almost doorway that the giant went through. And standing next to, or between these 2 tunnels, is another fire giant. And he's dressed a little less nicely. He's probably lower on the ordning than that other fire giant. He kind of looks disapprovingly at the orcs as they walk past, and then he looks kind of across you very quickly, and he looks back up to the Orogs, and you can kind of see like he has a look in his eye like he's kind of interested in what they're doing, or maybe interested in what they have, and less so in his job of deciding which tunnel you go down. He looks at Thorlan and your group, and he sends you down the rightmost tunnel, closest to the Magma River, and you definitely feel more heat coming out of that one. And you get the impression that perhaps because you're with all these old people, you might be being sent into a slightly more dangerous area, closer to the Magma River, where they can kind of just push you.
So I've got that going for me.
Yeah. And Canto, you get the less steamy tunnel to the left.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Kallista, you are dragged through another tunnel. So if this big cavernous room was like kind of circular in nature, there are those 2 tunnels there on the far right, kind of just a slight branch or slight jutting out from the circle. Then there's the great big doorway that the fire giant went through, kind of at the center of that, or at the top of that circle. And then over on the left side, it actually kind of the level shifts, and you kind of start going down a ramp, almost, or like a decline, a decline or an incline, but opposite. And you are dragged through a rough opening, kind of lower and off to the side, as the 2 guys in the party are led along the tunnels. You notice various veins of ore being mined by various prisoners. They all seem to be overworked. They all seem to be in very unsafe conditions. Like, some of them are, ass right against the fire river, basically. Sort of like the Death Star firing room, where there's no railing for whatever reason. It has been 0 days since our last Alderaan.
OSHA would so not approve.
Thorlan, your path takes kind of a sudden dip down and a circle around the river, and the river, you notice, starts to rise above your level in almost like a trough of stone. Like the rough stone is there, and it's kind of open, and then you notice as you start to kind of round the corner a little bit more, around the round. There is magma dripping down in almost like a sheet of waterfall over part of the side, and you open up into a vast room with what is basically a magma dripping waterfall into a giant pool of orange liquid. And then there's basically a plinth with massive forges and smelters against one wall. And you see that there are about a dozen dwarves in this area. Each one is chained to a group of fairly meek-looking other people. So, and in each one of those, dwarves is either manning a part of a smelter, like the actual like important part of a smelter, or the important part of a forge. And everyone he is chained to is basically assembly lining like ore up to it, or it should be coal, or shovels full of like magma bits being thrown into. So it looks like each dwarf is being used for his dwarven abilities to maybe work metal and whatnot, and is being assisted by these old meek people. And it doesn't make sense to you at first until you realize that they're enough to get that job done, and they're also weak and can't help you or can't, or will weigh you down if you try to get away. So they're basically your chain, your ball and chain. Canto, you were taken to a very plush room full of half-naked women.
Yeah.
Food. Then you realize that no, you're just breathing in fumes, and you're getting a little fucked up.
That's all right.
And you shake your head, and you.
No, I don't want to come back. just let it roll.
Twitch a little bit, and it starts to go away. And you can't catch it.
I breathe heavier. No, damn it, the dragon! I gotta find the dragon.
You realize that
Fuck, there's a little dragon.
Your role is probably going to be heavy manual labor, and that manicure you got is not going to last.
Oh,
the
man. Kallista did such a good job.
You walk past what kind of seems like a checkpoint, and there are several orcs standing there. You are basically roughly handed and shoved a shoddy pickaxe, and a bucket is handed to the halfling next to you. You are pushed forward, and you keep walking until eventually you reach a point where there's a space between two groups, and you are shoved up against the wall and prodded until you start chipping away for ore and or coal, whatever the fuck is in the wall. Kallista. You are led down what seems to be a very smooth hallway of stone that has been like almost polished. It almost seems wet or like marble in here. It has that kind of gloss to it. And you smell an odd smell, and it's almost the smell of spices, or it's not like a chemically smell, and it's not like sulfur. It is a smell that perhaps you're a little bit familiar with from your alchemy days. And you are led into a room, and you notice that this room contains an elf, a gnome, and a male tiefling.
Oh!
And they are each chained to a table. They're sitting down in front of it, but they're chained to it. The gnome is sitting in front of a table with a lot of intricate runes on it and sigils and symbols, and he seems to be he has a curved piece of metal in front of him, and he seems to be rubbing a pungent oil on it, and you see as it kind of like cascades out of the vial and over the metal, it seems to be almost rippling out, like pooling, like if you were to pour like syrup onto something and just let it continue to pour, how it would kind of get that layer, and then it would form out, and then it would push, and it seems to be doing that, and the metal just seems to be soaking that up. And you notice a couple other curved pieces of metal on his desk. It looks like maybe they're pieces to be assembled into a very large helmet. The elf woman is and the male tiefling are actually chained to a big two-person work table, and they seem to have gems in front of them, and they also have scrolls in front of them. And there is an orc in this room who seems to be watching the scrolls, and as the elf and the gnome, the elf and the tiefling say certain words, the scrolls become blank. The orc takes them away and puts another scroll out. So they seem to be maybe enchanting these stones with magic. There's an empty table, and it looks like the other work tables, but there's nothing on it. You are roughly sat down. Your face is kind of roughly wiped away, or wiped clean-ish. You aren't quite ungagged yet, but your shackles are changed so that you are chained, so that your wrists are out on the side of the tables, like you don't have any free movement really, and your feet are chained to the legs of the table. And some extra length of chain is added, but you are close chained to the table at the moment. And the orc looks at you, and looks you dead in the eye and says, "What do you know?" And then after a second, he takes the gag out of your mouth and pulls it down so it hangs around your neck.